اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب زدنا علما ولا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. I'm going to take a few minutes, inshallah ta'ala, from your generous time and remind myself and you with something pertaining to our deen again. This time it has a bit of fiqh. Something I have addressed before, but alhamdulillah, a dear brother a few days ago came to me and he was so excessively polite. Jazakallahu khair, so kind and so polite, incredibly polite. And subhanAllah, I said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. It's wonderful to see that there are also very beautiful, polite people. And he insisted, subhanAllah, to continue to be excessively polite and very sorry to ask the question. What is the question? He says, why, Sheikh, please, and he keeps on apologizing. Why, when you finish salah, you do dhikr sometimes aloud? And it disturbs some of us. He said, very apologetically, very beautifully, I'm not the only one. And he says, please, please, etc. I said, khalas, I got it. I remember I have spoken about this before. Our brother perhaps was not here, hafidhahullah, and I told you what the fiqh about it was in general. But I decided to say it again, inshallah ta'ala, for the sake of this beautiful brother and others like him, inshallah ta'ala. And I even wrote some things down just to take less time in sharing them with you. Why do we do that? First of all, when I do that, I'm very careful. I do that for about 30 seconds to a minute, not the entire dhikr and the entire dua. 30 seconds to a minute. And dhikr usually it's like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, some 7 minutes, 10 minutes. That's one thing. Second, for reasons that are established in fiqh, that we also learn and that we encourage others to be in dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to learn not only what dhikr we should read after salah, but also how we do that. Remember, we speak of not doing that fast, so that we learn also how to be in dhikr after salah. And this was practiced by our ulama and by our predecessors from the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam until nowadays. That has always existed. Thirdly, it is actually sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do that. It's not something that some people invented. It is sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do that. But with time, people prefer to do that quietly. Preferred to do that quietly, and it was accepted in all the schools of thought to do that also quietly. It's accepted. But also we see in later times in different schools of thought that still happens dhikr jama'ah after salah aloud, to say with loud voice. And that was practiced from the time of Rasulullah. And many people don't know that. And many people, because we don't know that, we don't accept that. And of course, once we know that Rasulullah did or permitted or allowed, or his companions or our predecessors, which is technically called as our salaf, the generation of the companions and the tabi'een and the tabi'een, when they practice something like that and we have reports about it, then we have the choice and the freedom to abide by that, even if they differed. And in those differences, we have to accept those differences and adjust to our differences. Otherwise, you know what will happen, as has already happened. So part of that teaching from the early predecessors of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the following I'm going to share with you, inshallah ta'ala. Please be patient and communicate that to others who might not be here. Al-Imam al-Bukhari relates. Everybody knows al-Bukhari? And Imam Muslim both relate, rahimahumullah ta'ala, that Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abbas said, كان رفع الصوت بالذكر حين ينصرف الناس من المكتوبة على عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, a companion, Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, raising voices with dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after the obligatory salah that is in jama'ah in the masjid was the practice in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وقال, and he added, كنت أعلم إذا انصرفوا بذلك إذا سمعته. When he was young, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, he was young in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he was either very in the back or outside of the masjid. And he said, I would know that the salah is finished when I hear their dhikr aloud in the masjid altogether. I would know that they finished salah because I hear the loud dhikr inside the masjid altogether. Now, this text and other texts, the scholars of old, like Imam al-Tabari, some of you know Imam al-Tabari, the great faqih and commentator and mufassir of the 3rd century Hijri, of the earliest mufassirun. He's called the Imam of the Mufassirin, Imam al-Tabari, and a scholar of hadith and faqih and so on. He said, رحمه الله تعالى, في حديث ابن عباس الدلالة على صحة فعل من كان من الأمراء والولاة يكبر بعد فراغه من صلاة المكتوبة في جماعة ويكبر من وراءه من المصلين بصلاته. End of quote. This, Imam al-Tabari says, as related by Imam Ibn Battal in the Sharh of al-Bukhari, he says, rahimahullah ta'ala, that in this hadith of Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Abbas is evidence of the correctness of the acts of the early rulers, that is Umayyads and after that, who used to raise their voices in dhikr, in takbir, after salah of jama'ah, and those behind them would do the same. End of quote. That is evidence for that practice from the early times of our Salaf radiallahu ta'ala anhu wa ardahum. Another comment. Who knows Imam al-Nawawi? Almost everybody, right? The great Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, who lived around the 6th century Hijri, and one of the greatest ulama and fuqaha and muhaddithun and zuhad and ubbad of this ulama of this ummah rahimahullah ta'ala. He said, commenting on this hadith, because it was also in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, and he has a sharh of Imam Muslim's collection of hadith rahimahullah ta'ala. That's Imam al-Nawawi. Imam al-Nawawi says, هذا دليل لما قاله بعض السلف أنه يستحب رفع الصوت بالتكبير والذكر عقب المكتوبة وممن استحبه من المتأخرين الإمام ابن حزم. And he continues to say other things rahimahullah ta'ala. So he said, this is evidence, this text that we mentioned is evidence to what some of our early Salaf, our early predecessors, the Salaf, have said that it is mustahab, that it is recommended even to raise voices in dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal and in takbir after the obligatory salah in jama'ah. And of those who also found it mustahab of the later ulama is Ibn Hazm. And he says later, what type of time you think we're talking about? When we say Salaf, companions, tabi'een, tabi'een, around, and then it goes around the 2nd century, beginning 3rd century Hijri. After that is mutaakhirin. Ibn Hazm lived in around the 4th century Hijri only. So he's called even mutaakhir, not salaf. Of those who have also say it is mustahab. And then many ulama like Ibn Battal wa akharun have related that the scholars of the madhahib later on do not find that mustahab. This is later scholars in the 4 madhahib do not find that mustahab. But this is the practice of the early salaf, rahimahullah ta'ala, and the practice of the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Moreover, many Sahaba, in accordance to hadith that are authentic, have related to us, in addition to what I said, have related to us witnessing themselves in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the dhikr of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as an imam aloud. So, of those companions we have the companion Thawban radiallahu ta'ala anh, Abdullah ibn Zubayr radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah, and many others who all related that in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam they heard him be in dhikr and in dua aloud after salah. Of those texts I'm going to mention 2 and I'm going to close so that the point is made and is clear inshaAllah ta'ala. The text related, for example, one of Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah رضي الله عنه قال سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إذا قضى الصلاة وفي رواية في دبر كل صلاة مكتوبة يقول لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منعت ولا ينفع ذا الجد منك الجد etc. He said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of the audience, and he heard him saying it aloud after every obligatory salah. This is related by both Bukhari and Muslim also. Also related by Imam Muslim and Al-Nasa'i and others, one more as I said, and there are many more. Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Zubayr said, another great companion, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه له النعمة وله الفضل وله الثناء الحسن وهو على كل شيء قدير لا إله إلا الله مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون وكان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يهلل بهن في دبر كل صلاة. These he said, رضي الله تعالى, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم used to speak them, say them aloud, يهلل بهن after every salah, related by Imam Muslim and Al-Nasa'i. In other words, and there is more. This is more than enough, alhamdulillah, for those of us, and we should all be seekers of knowledge. And seekers of knowledge look at what the ulama have said and the evidence of the ulama, if we understand evidence. And if there are differences, be generous, be courteous, be noble, accept those differences amongst the ulama. And if one is following that alim and you are following another alim, train to accept both. Train yourself. Train ourselves to accept both. That's character. That's nobility. For me to accept only what I know, and sometimes what I know is insufficient anyways, that's not good. That's not noble. That's not good character. That's not good for Islam. That's not good for Muslims. That's not good for the world. And this is our deen. This deen is beautiful. So sometimes when I do that, I'm very aware of all these differences. And I do that even for 30 seconds or a minute. I don't do that the entire dhikr. Just to hint at, look, I am doing both. I am also keeping quiet as some of you like it. Jazakumullahu khairan. But I'm also practicing the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I cannot hide that. I cannot hide it. Especially that it is in Bukhari and in Muslim and practiced by our ulama and practiced by our salaf. We cannot hide it under the rug. But let's learn to be, alhamdulillah, courteous and to be noble. You go to other Muslim countries, for example, and they practice this. And they practice it even, in my opinion, too loud. But they do. And it's been for centuries and centuries on the basis of such texts. So, and therefore, if you hear sometimes, or you read, or you go to internet, or you cover, and you read some things, don't take everything for granted, please. This ilm has ulama, and there are ways by which to navigate, to learn and to learn properly, without committing serious violations and without being a cause for dissension and for conflict and for violence and for hatred. Ila ذلك. As I said, the brother was extremely polite. May Allah bless him. I'm not going to mention who he is. He was extremely polite and so apologetic and so sincere that I really was humbled by that beautiful attitude. I said, khalas, I mean, a person like you just disagree, just keep disagreeing. It's wonderful to have people who disagree with that spirit and with that humility and that humbleness. May Allah enrich you and enrich your minds and enrich your hearts. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.